here. So these elections, people say, well, we got to protect this and protect that with Trump and so, and I agree with that, by the way. I agree with that. But you need to look at it maybe a little differently, too. You're trying to protect yourself, your way of life, right? You're trying to protect what belongs to you. Now, let's see here. Let me give you a perfect example. Cory Booker. I know Cory Booker is not relevant in the sense that he's not up in the midterm elections, but this is the mentality. This is the kind of thing that they want to do, the kind of thing that they're thinking about. And here we have from Vox, VOX. America has a massive, growing racial wealth gap. Now let's stop right there. What does that mean? We have all but open borders. People are coming into this country. Most of the people coming into this country illegally are not coming from Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and so forth. They're coming from south of the border. Vast majority of them are considered Latino. And the government makes people fill out forms, even if you're an illegal alien. You check the form, who you are, what you are, and so forth. And they make estimates about how many people are here. So let me ask you this. The 20 million people who are here illegally, are they included in this wealth gap issue? I'm just curious. How is this configured? Well, it really doesn't matter. Because that's not the point of this news article. The point is to support a left-wing agenda. When the nation was founded, as a matter of fact, before the nation was founded, the pre-revolutionary period into the revolutionary period, we didn't have a media per se, but we had a limited number of newspapers, really around 3 dozen, across the British colonies. And we had pamphleteers. That was their form of social media, if you will. And the information in these papers and these pamphlets were a mix of news, and much of the news was old by the time it would reach certain parts of the wilderness in this country, and opinion. But the vast majority of it was pro-colony, pro-America. That was the point. That was the purpose. Nobody wanted to read stuff or pass along information that trashed their own society. It doesn't mean they weren't taking a critical eye to events that were taking place. But these people, early on, understood liberty better than most of our neighbors and fellow citizens do. And early on, you had to get permission from the governors of these colonies, most of whom were, installed by the Brits, to write something. So they started to do these pamphlets to get around all that. One of the earliest printers, not the earliest, but one of them, was Benjamin Franklin's brother, and then later Benjamin Franklin. This whole idea of freedom of the press, where did it come from? It came from them. Those white slave owners. Although Franklin never owned slaves, but you get the point. That's where freedom of the press came from. Freedom of the press and freedom of speech were synonymous. And they were promoting a republic. They were promoting individual liberty. They were promoting private property rights. They were fighting the opposite positions and viewpoints. They were fighting them. Almost every day when you read a so-called news article, it's trashing our country. Now let's go back to the first sentence of this piece on Vox. America has a massive growing racial wealth gap. Let me ask you a question. Then why do people risk their lives to come here? Because that sentence is telling you that America is racist and there's not equal opportunity in America. That's what that sentence is telling you. Why do people of color, a.k.a. non-whites, why are they flooding into America? Why are they leaving Guatemala and Honduras and Mexico and one country after another in Central and South America? Why are they leaving one country after another on the African continent? Why are they leaving one country after another in Southeast Asia? Even China. Why are all these people coming to the United States if there is a massive, growing racial wealth gap? There's no opportunity for non-whites? Is that it? One of the problems we have in this country, thanks to the left, whether in the media or entertainment and elsewhere, is a lack of promoting assimilation. A lack of promoting assimilation, learning English, learning American laws, learning American practices, embracing American culture. I mean, after all, you came to the United States to escape the culture of your birthplace, right? Isn't that what a refugee is? Isn't that what an illegal alien does? Otherwise, why come to America? And America, you see, is so racist as a country that, as Barack Obama and Joe Biden used to say, by 2044, white people will be in the minority. They're so race obsessed. Well, if America is so racist, why do Americans allow that? Because America as a country is not racist. That's why. People should be encouraged to embrace capitalism. They should be encouraged to embrace entrepreneurship. They should be encouraged to embrace the private sector, the profit motive, creativity, productivity, rather than government, government, government. Because the vast majority of people do not succeed by getting a government check. It destroys them. It destroys initiative. It destroys independent thinking. It destroys the human spirit, which is exactly why the left pushes it. So let's go back to this story. America has a massive, growing racial wealth gap. Now, for the left, of course, that means more government, more redistribution, higher taxes, more regulation. You know, in more to government. It goes on, the median white family today holds nearly 10 times the wealth of the median black family. Senator Cory Booker is introducing a bill aimed at closing that gap. Well, that caught my attention. His idea is to give lower-income kids, a sizable nest egg, nearly $50,000 in some cases, that they could use for wealth-building purchases like a down payment on a house or college tuition. Did you hear this? Were you familiar with this? These, they call them opportunity accounts. They don't call these Marxist accounts. They call them opportunity accounts. Would theoretically, now this is the article. This is the news article. It doesn't say that it's an opinion piece. These opportunity accounts would theoretically make sure all children have significant assets when they enter adulthood, rather than just those who grew up in wealthier homes. Sounds cool, right? Equality? It would be a dramatic change in our country to have low-income people break out of generational poverty, Booker said in an interview with Vox. We could rapidly bring security into those families' lives, and that is really exciting to me. Now, there will never be any discussion of where this money comes from. Never. Nobody cares. What kind of taxes will have to be increased? Who cares? What kind of additional debt will have to be accumulated? Who cares? None of it matters. We're talking about equality of results, economic equality. We're not talking about liberty, Don't confuse us with liberty. Don't confuse us with markets. Don't confuse us with opportunity. No, don't you see? We have a racist country. We need to take money, give it to poor people, poor kids, up to $50,000, so they can move into the middle class, you see. It's that simple. Why didn't I think of this? Why didn't anybody think of this? These are opportunity accounts, after all, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming into the modern era, the modern era, I guess. Economics don't matter. Debt doesn't matter. Tax rates are irrelevant. We need an opportunity account. Up to $50,000 a kid. What's the big deal? And while we're at it, free college. And while we're at it, free health care. And while we're at it, open borders. And while we're at it, why don't you destroy the country? We're the richest country on the face of the earth, where even our poorer people live better than most poor people in the rest of the world. They don't have local, state, and federal welfare systems, food systems, housing benefits. They don't have them in these other countries. We have them in this country thanks to the productivity of individuals who get up every morning and go to work and come back in the evening and contribute to society. Why do we spend all our time attacking the people who create wealth, who create this magnificent society, who build things, who produce things, who make it possible for people who don't even do those things to have some form of material wealth, food, clothing, and so forth? You kill the golden goose, you will not have those golden eggs. I'm telling you, you need to do more than just vote. You need to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people with you, or you need to make sure they vote. Or this is your future. This is your future. And I'm talking to all people, all income groups, all races, all religions, all genders, and so forth. This is your country, too. What makes this country different isn't opportunity accounts. What makes this country different isn't government centralized health care. What makes this country different is individual liberty. That's what makes us different. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.